Mercy for the guilty, cruelty for the innocent. That's what you're going to get in Babylon the Great. You're not going to get true justice. Why? Because the righteous are not in authority. The wicked are in authority. And this is inspired by Sirach chapter 10 verse 2. Right, Sirach chapter 10 verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And that's what you see right here. You have an officer, a high-ranking officer of the law. Okay, you got the sheriff, the top officer in that county, and you got the judge, right? Top high officials, man, or officers. And they're corrupt as hell. They're wicked, right? That's a clear-cut case of Sirach 10 and 2. Hey, everybody that's under these men, they're all a bunch of degenerates. That includes everybody that's a part of that county, man. They're pretty much doing the exact same things that these men are doing. And that's Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? This is a clear-cut example of Job 9:24 as well. Job 9:24 is in full effect. And these are sons of the wicked. They come out of the nation of Edom. And we know that the nation of Edom is called the border of wickedness, which just means that they are the sons and the daughters of the wicked. So they're over us, man, and they're ruling over us, and this is what they're doing with their power. And it makes sense, man, because Esau Edom is a very base man. We know that from different books in the Bible, especially Daniel and especially Job. Hey, Daniel 4:17 says, "And the kingdom of, or the Most High ruleth in the basis of men, or in the kingdom of men." Right. Actually, let me just get it. Let me get it. Daniel 4:17, right? It says, "This dream," Daniel 4:17, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth over it the basis of men." And we have a base man ruling the earth right now. Yeah, pursuant to Job 30:8, and that's Esau Edom. And this is what a base man is going to do with his power and his authority. He's gonna bring forth corruption, and he's going to become a tyrant and oppress the people. And these two men right here, they pretty much use the prison as their own personal brothel. And the corruption runs deep. It starts with them, but other CEOs and officers are involved in passing around inmates for sex, man. And that's unacceptable. You shouldn't be doing that. You would think a sheriff, the top police officer, you would think that he's righteous, because one, he's supposed to enforce the law and protect and serve the public. He's doing the opposite of that. And then you have a judge, man. He's supposed to put away bad guys. He's supposed to throw the hammer down and bring forth righteousness, and he's doing the exact opposite. In fact, these guys are criminals, man, and they should be in jail. Fucked up, man. Well, let me get this. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn." Yeah. And that's why this scandal came out. Because it affected people's lives, man. And this is causing people to mourn. This is a damn shame. This is a damn shame. But this is Babylon the Great, man. And I'm sure there's many other corrupt cops, corrupt sheriffs, corrupt judges that are out there. This isn't the first. This isn't the first. There's many more to come after this. You see, we're going to experience true justice and righteousness and judgment in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and it's going to start with Yahushua and King David on down, man. In this society, 33 years I've been in this world, on this earth, and I've never seen true justice or true righteousness. Now, I've seen equality, and equality does help. There are benefits to equality, but equality doesn't equate to justice, man. All we've experienced is equality, and the Lord ain't dealing with equality. He's dealing with justice. Sorry, justice, and that comes out of the scriptures through the laws, statutes, and commandments, and that starts with righteous people judging you And the righteous people are about to be put back into power, man. And that's the Israelites, starting with Yahushua and King David on down, pursuant to Isaiah 9 and 6. So, yeah, man, we got to get the hell up out of here. You got to get the hell up out of here. This is Sirach chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of a man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Yep, and we know that this judge and this top enforcer of the law, they are not wise because they don't fear the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. In fact, they're fools. These two men, they're foolish. And it makes sense because, you know, they're the children of fools, because that's what Job calls them. And you know what how the fool thinks. The fool says, you know, the fool has said in his heart that there is no God, and they don't believe in God, and it shows. It shows, man. You know, they don't even follow their own laws. What makes you think they're going to even follow the laws of Yahweh Shai? And if you're not following the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shai, which is the divine law, you are a fool. And in fact, man, the wicked, they cannot follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's get that. Psalms 50 and 16 here. And it says, But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. And you know, that's exactly what they did. They not only did that with the Lord's law, but they're doing that with their law. They don't even keep their own words. They don't even keep their own laws, man. They broke every single fucking law, man. These guys. But that's the wicked, man. That's the wicked. You see? You see? Hey, the wicked, man. That's what you get. Hey, man. We read it already. I'll read it one more time. Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Yeah. Because they don't follow the laws. They're not righteous. And they bring forth tyranny and oppression, man. Yeah, so, yeah, these guys were just using the prison as their own personal brothel. So I'm gonna read a little bit of the article. So it says here, in December 2024, a woman who had sued the Letcher County Sheriff's Department in federal court came forward with more information regarding Judge Mullins' sexual misconduct. As the Gateway Pundit reported, Sabrina Atkins said that she had watched a video of Mullins having sex with a female inmate in his chambers. A co-plaintiff in that lawsuit died of a drug overdose after the suit was filed. According to the Mountain Edge Eagle, the lawsuit alleged that these sexual encounters with Judge Mullins and Deputy Ben Fields, who was convicted of third-degree rape and third-degree sodomy, were in exchange for favorable treatment while in jail and on home incarceration. Fields was sentenced to 6 months in prison and 6.5 years probation. And this is a disgusting crime, man. You rape and then you sodomize somebody. Right. You know, somebody, this, you know, these inmates, I'll say this, even though they're not totally innocent, they are being taken advantage of. Because that favorable treatment is really just going into commissary items. They're not even really having sex for money. And that shows you, man, you know, this society is fucked up. Because if you have to solicitate yourself like that just to survive, it shows you that this society is out of whack. It is out of whack, and it's corrupt. If you have to have sex for a bag of chips, if you have to have sex for soda, sex for cigarettes, not even physical money, like, you know, you that's fucked up. Yo, that's low, man. That is low. And that's exactly what these inmates were doing. They were having sex for like socks, soda, chips, getting pimped out, man, and passed around. It's nasty, yo. But yeah, that's why I said earlier, you know, mercy for the guilty and cruelty for the innocents. And this guy received mercy when he was guilty. This guy should have been thrown under the jail. And he knew better. He was a cop, man. He was a deputy. So he knows what he's doing. You know, but that's this place. Now, News Nation Banfield has conducted 2 exclusive interviews with witnesses to the Sex for Favor scandal. Tia Adams said that she knew Mullins before he became a judge because her sister worked for him when he was the assistant Commonwealth's attorney. Adams claimed her first sexual interaction with him came when she was supposed to learn how to take a deposition, according to her interview. I gave him oral, with my shirt pulled down, and whenever we were done, he threw money in my face and told me to clean myself up and remind me that I knew better than to tell my sister, Adams told News Nation, which she's off as hell. You're not supposed to do that. You know, she's not fully innocent. She's guilty too. But it just shows you what type of person this guy is. You know, this guy's a piece of shit. You know, how you do that to somebody and just throw money in their face like that? Which, you know, he was just treating them like, because they're hoes. So he's like, no, fuck this guy, fuck this bitch. But still, it shows you who you're dealing with. This guy's not a nice person. You know, he's not a good person. But he's a judge, and he's over you. From then on, Adams claims Mullins introduced her to his friends, other lawyers, and engaged in sex parties. So that's orgies, man. This guy was getting down on orgies. Performed shows. Yeah, sex shows and shit. And had sex with them for money. Wow. So all his friends were passing this one woman around. Adams was asked if she felt like she could say no. She quickly responded no. She continued, they would make sure to make you feel as small and degraded and belittled as possible. To take your power away, you know. She then acknowledged that we were having fun too. We were doing drugs. We were doing coke, a lot of cocaine, partying. It wasn't like they were raping, like physically. When they hear the word rape, it was consensual. It was a thing that we were so young, and they use it against us to destroy our lives later with the legal system. CPS systematically removing your whole life piece by piece. Wow. Asked if she had sex with him after he became a judge, Adams said, yeah, I've had sex with him in the chambers upstairs. She then said that the room in the shooting video that was published was not the original chambers. I'm going to just jump down. Now it says here, Davis said she thought of the jail as a brothel. She mentioned a female colleague who she claimed would take male inmates into a lockable storage room, and sometimes others would take their victims up to the courthouse itself after hours. According to Davis, supervisors would sign out inmates and bring them home to engage in sexual favors. When they asked what inmates would get in return for sexual favors, Davis said if they were sleeping with the guards, it's mostly for things like cigarettes, time out of the cell, pops, commissary, things like that. Davis believed that after Sheriff Stein shot Mullins, a lot of the corruption was going to come out, and the sheriff either knew something or something was going on that he knew about, and that he was doing something to protect us. Mullins at one point invited Davis herself to what she believed was a sex party. Twice she declined both times. So you see that, man? Bunch of degenerates, man. And that's who's over you. You know? This guy. Hey, that's how it is, man. Okay. So we're just going to go into Isaiah and Amos. That's where we're going to spend our time. Because Isaiah and Amos were calling out the injustice that was done by the leaders back then. And this was coming out of their own nation, because our own nation, the nation of Israel, is like this too, man. It's a sinful nation, and it's full of corruption, and they're just as bad as the wicked. In fact, the scripture says they have surpassed the deeds of the wicked, man. They're actually worse, and it makes sense because our people, they were given the law and they know better. They know better, man, but they just choose to go off, man. That's just how our nation is. So it says here, Isaiah chapter 1 verse 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Yeah, and that's going into the ox and the ass, which is the donkey and the ox that ploweth the field. You know, they understand order, they understand who is over them, and they don't bite the hand that feeds them. But Israel will do it. It's to the point Israel will slap God in the face. and then they don't care about it, man. You slap the Most High in the face by not following the law, statutes, and commandments, and by serving the gods of the other nations. Our people, they do that willfully. They do that like it's drinking water. They don't care. They have no problem doing that. Verse 4, it says, a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity. What is iniquity? You being in the condition without having the law. It's like second nature to our people to be wicked too. I'm going to say that. A seed of evildoers. Yeah, very fucking evil. And they bring forth bad times. That's you tribes, man. And you get down just like the so-called white man too, especially when you get in a position of authority. You're just as bad or worse as these men right here. Yeah, you do everything. You do coke, especially you Latin tribes. You do coke, right? You guys are involved in sex parties. You guys get involved in orgies. You partake in gangbangs. You run trains on women. You do that too, man. So you tribes are wicked, especially if you get in a position of authority, man. And we're calling out your wickedness, you tribes, you Israelites, man. Fuck you Israelites too, man. Children that are corrupters, they have forsaken Yahweh Shem Shai. They have provoked the Holy One of Yasharallah onto anger. They are gone away backward. Yes, and you know that simply means you have become a degenerate plant, pursuant to Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. Let me get that, man, because you have gone backward. You're not progressing. You're actually going backwards, man, because you're not following the last statutes and commandments. You've become worse. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. And it says here, yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? So you turn into a strange vine unto Yahweh Shem Shai, a degenerate plant. Meaning that you look like a heathen nation. You don't look like the original nation that he made in the very beginning. That was in order. So throughout the years, man, throughout the different generations, you have actually changed, and now you're not even recognizable unto Yahweh Shem Shai. So you're not progressing. You're actually going backwards, man. And that's their people. So this is back in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5. Why should he be stricken anymore? He will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. That's right, and that starts with the leadership. The whole head is sick. So from head to toe, this nation is sick. And that ties into what I started off with originally in Sirach chapter 10, verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, okay, and the judge of the people, that's the authority, that's the leadership. So are his officers, that's right, the ones that are under the leaders. And these different officers, they enforce the law too. They're lawgivers as well, enforcers. And what manner of a man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So everybody's going to be corrupt, because the people on top are corrupt. And that's Israel too, man, to a T. Corrupt, messed up, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even onto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. Yeah, you're ugly, man, and disgusting. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And that includes these other nations. That represents these other nations coming into your land and taking you down and inhabiting your land and defiling it. Yeah, and that's what's going on today. That's why we're no longer in our home. You have Edomites in our land. These fake Jews, man. These small hatters. According to Apostle Tahar, man, that's what he says. He says it a lot. Small hatters, which is the synagogue of Satan. And that's because you are wicked, you tribes. Alright, let's go into Amos now. This is Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell it in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols. That's right, the Lord ain't accepting what you bring forth to him, man, because you ain't worshiping him properly. feast days go into the different high holy days, especially the righteous high holy days. You know, our people, they celebrate the high holy days, but they go through the motions, man. They don't really care about it. You know, they don't really understand. Well, they don't really care about the actual meaning, the true meaning behind the high holy day. You know, it's like a festival onto them. You know, they just go through the motions. They just do it. They just do it to just do it. But the Lord is not accepting what you offer up. Verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. And that's what Amos is asking for. You know, let judgment come down, man, and judge these people for their wickedness, man. Hey, and that's what the prophets are calling for. You know, that's also a part of the patience and the faith of the saints. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for Israel to get judged and for these other nations to get judged too. Verse 25, have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Yasharallah, but ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and hewn in your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves. Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith Yahweh, whose name is the God of armies. Yep. And good, you get judged. And that's why you suffer today. And you tribes, man, you're sacrificing onto Molech and these different gods. And that's why you're not doing too well. You know, you join these different societies and fraternities. You know, you get your little consolation, but then you don't do too good afterwards. But hey, Jacob's trouble is right around the corner, man. Jacob's going to suffer in these last days. 2/3 specifically, 66.6% of the nation of Israel, man. A lot of Israel ain't gonna make it. This is Amos chapter 4. I'm gonna start at let me see. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Hear this word, ye kind of Bashan, that are in the mountains of Samaria, which oppress the poor, which crush the needy, which say to their masters, bring and let us drink. Yeah, you know, this is going into tyranny. You know, the people who are in power, they oppress the poor, and they take advantage of people that can't defend themselves. Hey, inmates really can't defend themselves, man. You know, they you know, the CEO could fuck them up, because, you know, pretty much when you're an inmate, man, you don't really have rights. You don't have rights. You're a prisoner, of course, right? And you're subject to the powers that be. And nobody really cares about you because you broke the law, right? So nobody really cares about criminals. But, you know, you're supposed to treat a criminal with respect too, right? Especially if they're serving out their time correctly. You know, they have rights to a certain degree. They still fall under the law, right? You can't just take advantage of them. But that's what's going on. You know, and who makes up who's incarcerated? You know, who has the highest incarceration rate? You tribes, man. Starting with you so-called blacks, right? You Latinos as well. So you're being taken advantage in the prison system. But you know, obviously this is in the context. This is talking about, you know, our people pressing one another. But I'm just comparing it to what's going on in the article as well. You know, I'm just making some points. All right. Anyways, let me move on. So verse 2, the Lord power has shorn by his holiness that lo, the day shall come upon you, that he will take you away with hooks, and your posterity with fish hooks, and ye shall go out at the breaches, every cow at that which is before her, and ye shall cast them into the palace, saith Yahweh. Come to Bethel and transgress, at Gilgal multiply transgression, and bring your sacrifice every morning and your tithes after 3 years. Right, so I just wanted to bring that out. Let's get another one here. We get this. Actually, this is going to be the last one because I forgot to bring this out earlier. Going into the future. This is, you know, the kingdom, obviously. It says Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son given. And the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. This is talking about Yahweh Shai, of course. And he's going to be over the nation of Israel. Verse 7, of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it, and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of armies will perform this. You see? So that's where we're going to experience true justice and judgment. It's going to be in the kingdom, and the right people are going to be in power. That starts with Yahweh Shai and King David on down. Right now, we're not getting that. Right now, what we're getting is equality, tyranny, and corruption. All right, so, So with that, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Muslim GMS that do teach well and have taught me this truth. To you I say Shalom. This is the son of Zion signing out. Lord willing, I come back with the next one. So Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May Yahweh Shai be with you in the spirit. Kwam Yasha Allah and Abad Babal. Shalom.